All right. File and storage services here. And then we're going to highlight disk, plural. And you can see, right, I've got disk 0, 63 gigs, and I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is that's the primary disk that this operating system is on, right? So that's the operating system disk for VM2, right? The virtual disk that we created for VM2. Then we created those 4 SCSI drives that are 25 gigabytes each, right? That's what number 2 wanted us to do. Number 3, we're going to highlight disk number 1. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And select task drop down box and click new volume. So can I right mouse click and give new volume? Yeah, so new volume. And at the select a server, we have the new windows. New, don't show this page again. We're going to see this like 20 times now. Select the server. Right, so this is my server. Select disk 1. Oh, disk 1 down here. So we're going to select disk 1. Click next. At the specify the size of the volume, type 30 and the volume size text box, which we can't do, right? We can do 15 because that's half of what it asked us to do. Right. And then click next. And assign a drive later. We're going to click E, is fine. Click next. Select the file system. We're going to call this simple volume 1. Click next. Click create. All right. So essentially the same thing that we did in like lesson 7.2 in disk management, but we're doing it on the file server, right? And you can see right here, the difference is now you can see that I've selected that. You can see down here, I've got a fixed 15 gigabyte hard drive. Okay. And I've got 10 gigabytes of unallocated space. Make sense? All right. Next, simple volume, create, close. Okay, so then we're done with number 3. Number 4, highlight disk number 1. We're going to create an extended volume, type 50, so we'll do 25, which is all we have. All right, so we'll just follow the instructions, see what happens. So disk 1. So we're gonna Oh, okay. So highlight disk 1 in the disk pane, that's up here. Note the E volume in the volumes pane, that's down here. Extend the volume. Oh, we can go up to 25, right? So we have a 15 gig hard drive. Sorry, take me a second. A little slow sometimes. And we just want to maximize it. Like, so we're going to extend the partition all the way out to the end of the whole disk that we have. That's all we're doing. Okay, so we'll click OK. And now you can see I've got a 25 gig online volume with no unallocated space left. We're also going to then right click on this and we're going to scan file system for errors. And we're going to click scan now. Just going to make sure there's not any problems, right? So E volume says it's fixed. So maybe there was an issue. Maybe extending it causes a problem. And that's why they did this. And now that we've got it all nice and pretty and fixed, it wants us to delete the volume. Make sure you take a picture at this point, I think, right? So like, if you can get the fix there, but like showing me disk 1, 25 gigs with 0 unallocated, right? Maybe even the 15 and 10, that will be helpful. Okay, so it's just showing us how to do that. So we're going to delete the volume and we should get all of our, right? Got all of our storage space back. Okay, so that was the end of number 4. Number 4 there. Number 5, highlight storage pools. So over here, I'm going to click on storage pools. There's a task menu right here. And I don't see what else it's showing us. So let's see what's going on here. Wow, that's crazy. All right. Task properties. So if I highlight this, let's see what that's asking us to do. Highlight storage pools and over here, highlight storage pools in the navigation pane. All right, so this is the navigation pane over here on the left. Note the default primordial pool. We have a default primordial pool. Doesn't sound like Jurassic Park, right? That's what I keep thinking every time I say that. Primordial. I'm sorry, I should not have drank coffee before class. Probably a bad idea. Excuse me. Okay, let's take a look at this again. Highlight storage pool navigation pane and note the default primordial pool in the storage pools. That's right here. And the disk listed in the physical disk pane. So down here, right? So the primordial pool has all 4 of those disks in the pool, right? Let's go there. Let's go there so we can, I'm not able to, oh wait, if I scroll down a little bit, right, and scroll over a little bit, you can see 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? Those are the 4 disks there. Awesome. Okay. Select task for the drop-down box in the storage pool pane. Right. So there's a storage pool pane somewhere. Yes, no, maybe so. If I scroll up, storage pools, task. Okay. Someone make a new storage pool. That we're doing. New storage pool. Okay, so new storage pool. At the new storage pool wizard, don't show this page again. And click next. I have to specify a storage pool name and subsystem page, type storage pool 1. Okay then. Storage, well, it should probably be over there. Storage pool 1. I lost where we were. Right here. Click next. So that was B. We're on C. At the select physical disk, place check boxes next to all the disks. So all the disk. Click next. Click create. So we're adding all of the hard drives into a storage pool. And then click close. All right, so now storage pools, we have a Windows storage pool. There's not a primordial pool. The primordial pool is basically disks that have not been allocated into a storage pool. Okay. We're going to highlight storage pool 1 in the storage pool pane and note the 4 disks are shown in the physical disk pane down here. These disks represent disk 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, highlight disk in the navigation pane here. And note that only disk 0 shows up, right? Disk 0 shows up only. Because disk 1 through 4 are now part of a storage pool. So they don't show up as physical drives here any longer. Highlight storage pools again. Select tasks from the drop-down menu and click new virtual disk. Oops. Do that again. Oh, in the virtual disk, right? So I'm selected pool 1, new virtual disk. All right. And we're going to select, ensure that pool 1 is selected and click OK. All right, so we're going to use those disks. We put all those disks basically into a bucket, right? And now they're all available for us to do whatever. And we are not managing them on a per disk basis any longer. All we're doing is throwing everything into a bucket, right? And if you think about it, there's a term out there called JBOD, just a bunch of disks, right? So we're throwing a bunch of disks in there. It's going to add up all of the storage space, and then I'll tell it what I want it to do, and then the system will automatically do that for us. Okay, I don't have to tell it, hey, we need 3 disks to do a RAID 5, right? What I can tell it is hey, I want you to create this much space, and I want there to be some redundancy, right, parity built into it, and it will decide how it's going to do that with the disks that are available. Okay, so it's kind of cool stuff. It's the newest, latest, and greatest. It's kind of out there. We don't have to manage the disk drives as strictly as we used to do that, right? Once you throw them into a storage pool, you can do a whole bunch of really cool things with it. All right, now we are new virtual disks, right? So we're here, new virtual disks. Like, don't show this page again. At the specify, and then click next, right? So then at the specify the virtual disk name, we're going to call this virtual disk one. All right, we're going to click next, and then at the specify enclosures resiliency page, just we're going to click next. We're going to skip right over that, and then we select at the select stores layout, select parity. So we're going to select parity. So data and parity information are striped across physical disk, increasing reliability with somewhat reducing capacity and performance to protect against a single drive failure. Use at least 3 disks to protect against 2 disk failures. Use at least 7 disks. Okay, which is single disk failure would be RAID 5, and 2 disk failure is going to be similar to RAID 6. Right, so we're picking parity and we're picking next. And then we're going to thin provision, right? Which means we're going to tell it, hey, we want to allocate all the space, or we want the drives to be a certain amount, but we're only going to allocate the used space. And then specify the size, right? So it's once 100, but we're going to do 50, right? Based on our previous requirement of having all of our storage sizes. And we'll click next, and we're going to click create. Okay. So I want to say, whoa. Source pool does not have sufficient eligible resources for the creation of specified virtual disk. Recommended action: choose a combination of fault domain. Choose value number of columns less than or equal to the number of physical disks in the storage fault selected virtual disk. Let's see what happens. See if it's. Let's see. Let's just finish and see what it does. Whoa. I've been disconnected. Did I just break my server? That would suck. All right, so that dropped. Let's go find my vSphere and let's reconnect. That doesn't look good. Did you guys just lose access to your? I'm still on this. I'm on the VPN. Looks like I'm on the VPN. I'm just going to close all that down then. We'll launch a new one. That was weird. Just like dropped me completely off. Logged me out. Here's my console again. So I don't know if I want to close this and try to decide how we're going to fix this. Failed to create the virtual disk, not supported. Extended information. The storage pool does not have sufficient eligible resources for the creation of a specified virtual disk. So it's acting like maybe it doesn't think it has enough. Like maybe let's go close and let's try this again. So instead of, I said 50, like let's go down to something smaller. Let's do like new virtual disk. We're going to use storage pool, which has plenty of space. Space is not the issue. What's going on? Let's say just virtual disk 1. Is that what it's supposed to be? So VD1 and go there, and we're not worried about that. And we're going to do parity and thin provision and 30 gigs, right? Let's just go 30 gigs, see if it gives us a problem again. So it has the same problem. So there's something else going on here. Storage pool as a resources. So there may be. So recommend I choose a combination of fault domain awareness and number of data copies or physical disk redundancy support by the storage pool. Choose a value of number of columns that's less than or equal to the number of physical disk. That's odd. I wonder. If there's something amiss. Oh, I'm not online. This one's not online. I won't be able to do anything with it. My virtual machine that's inside of my VM. All right. Next, let's go ahead and delete the storage pool. And that should get us back to a primordial pool. Right, so there's a primordial pool there. Right, and then task new storage pool. Storage pool number 2 on this server. Select all the disk. I don't think there's anything else I can do. Automatic allocation. Yeah, so we'll just automatically allocate. That's fine. That looks good. Create. That's weird. I've never run into this before. Close that. Now we have a storage pool called SP2. All right. Let's try a new virtual disk SP2 and let's just call this test 1 and let's do next and let's take we're not worried about that. Let's do a simple, right? Let's do a simple one and see if it gives us an error as well, because if it gives us an error, there's something amiss underneath this, right? So I've got 99 gigs, so 45 should be plenty big. Right? I think create. All right, so then so simple seems to work without any issue, right? So that's okay, that's fine, that's good. So then let's take a look. What happened there? That I skipped out to something else. Oh, it's creating a volume. Let's cancel. I'm gonna cancel. I'm gonna start this over. I don't like that I just missed a piece there that I didn't get to see. So deleting the virtual disk. I got a storage pool. Get new virtual disk. Server. This would be test number 2. Hopefully we don't get to very high numbers today. That would be not good. I think I jinxed myself because I said, I want to be done by 8. Right? Remember I said that? Then provision. And 45 is fine. Click next. Click create. So we're creating a virtual disk. I'm going to click close. And then it brings up new volume wizard. So then, all right, so disk 5 tests, right? So this is the test 2 virtual disk that I just created. Next, specify the volume size. We're going to use up the whole thing, call it E. Yay. This is test number 2 disk. No, volume, right? It's the volume. Test 2 volume. Create. All right, so simple volume created, right? And then I believe if we were to go out to file manager, we should see the E drive test 2 volume right there, right? So, and then if we look at the properties of this, it should be 45 gigs, right? So that's fine. So everything there works great. That works fine. Then let's take a look at, let's go ahead and delete this one. So delete the virtual disk. gotta delete the volume first. Now I'm afraid, right? Because you gotta delete the volume first, but then like, where is the volume? Let's just leave that one there, because I don't want to delete something without me spending time figuring it out. Let's go back to virtual disk, new virtual disk. I'm going to create a, we're going to call this one mirror 1. And I want to create a mirror. And I want to thin provision it. And I want to say it's 20 gigs. So there's plenty of disks there to do this. That shouldn't be a problem, right? So that wasn't a problem. All right. So that part worked. That part worked. Right, and then here's my new volume. Do the max size, volume F, yay. This one's called mirror. So that's fine too. And now that I've used up all my space, oh, if I go to volumes here, I should be able to delete my volumes. There we go. I can delete them there. Okay, so the last one then is I've used 45 plus 20, that's 65. New virtual disk. So if it doesn't create the parity drive, I want to say has anybody else run into this same problem, or have you tried it and it worked? This is the parity drive. I'm wondering if there's there's some updates that need to be applied that maybe fix a problem, because this has no updates whatsoever even from the very first installation. So this is as raw can be, and it's using a fairly old disk, right? I'm hoping that's what it is. It just seems weird that it would cause this much issue. So let's do 12 gigs, right? We're not trying to do anything here, anything fancy at all. And it's gonna, okay, so there is some other issue going on. Okay, so I'm gonna go with, I honestly, I think, and I could be completely wrong, but I really think if it's having an issue here, I have 4 disks, right? So I have 4 disks, so parity across those disks should not be a problem. That should not be an issue. I want to think that there's possibly an issue with the fact that this server has never gotten any updates whatsoever. It's never been updated. It doesn't have any hot fixes, any patches, anything. And I think there may be some issue there. Okay. So if this was my server, right, first of all, it's not online, right? And I don't want to go and fight that battle, because we've tried to fight that battle before when we created this one. And I didn't get it solved. So what I think, if this was mine, if this was a real server, then I would obviously I would have internet access, I would hope. And then I would probably make sure that all the updates are there. And then I would start investigating storage pool errors, right? Storage pool issues. Okay. Oh wait, we got a couple more things going on. So we refresh. So new virtual disk, storage pool, unfriendly virtual disk, resilient parity. This one's at the time of this writing. Oh my gosh. I wasn't losing my mind, right? So there's a bug, right? And I honestly think, because I haven't updated my server, right? My server hasn't been updated. Right, this bug still exists. So I'm curious now, right? It says prevents you from adding a server manager, right? You can do it in PowerShell. Wow. If we had read another paragraph, we could have avoided all the tap dance and trying to figure out what's going on with my machine. So let's do this. Volumes. I'm going to get rid of the mirrored volume. Okay. You go ahead and do those volumes. I want to see if this thing works. Thin. I'm going to get rid of the thin one. Right. Those are the two that I created. Cool. So the volumes are gone. If I go to storage pools, I should be able to delete the virtual disk. All right, so the virtual disk is gone. Good. Delete the virtual disk. Awesome. Okay. Now, let's get this window over here, and I want to maximize this so I make sure I'm on the right server. Right mouse click, PowerShell admin. All right. And then let's try this command, new dash virtual disk space dash storage pool friendly name. Holy cow, that is a long argument. The capitals don't matter. I don't know why I do it. That's just me. Storage pool. Oh, what did I call my storage pool? SP2, right? So that's not going to work. SP2. All right, so that's the storage pool. And then dash friendly name. And I believe the virtual disk 1, that's going to be whatever I want to name it, right? So we're on test 3 at this point, I think. Something test 74, take 29, and then space. And I hate the way that these things are like they dash like it's a like the dash resilient. It needs to be right next to each other, right? Resiliency, resiliency, setting name is equal to parity. And the size, we're going to do 30 gigs, 30 gigabytes. And the provisioning type is going to be thin. We'll see what happens. Did I type it in right? That's the first question. I did not. Provisioning type. I knew I did it. Provisioning, ing here, ing. Okay, enter. Oh, that looks like it worked. All right. So now that that's been done, we come back over to here and we refresh this page. We're hoping right below here, please, wait for that to be done. Look at there, test 3 parity. So I wasn't losing my mind. There was actually a problem. I was on the right track. That's good to know. And that I still think correctly. And then they gave us a solution to fix that. So highlight disk, right? And you're going to right click on virtual disk 1 and bring it online. Right, so we created it, but we didn't. Then we brought it online, so it's online as a 30 gig parity drive, running on those 4 disk drives. The system is going to manage where everything goes. I don't have to, have. In fact, one of the things that is interesting now is I don't have to have 4 matching hard drives either. Right, I can just throw a bunch of drives together and it will decide how it's going to do it. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Right, 2 more items here. 2 more items. Highlight storage pools in the navigation pane in the server manager. Right-click virtual disk. Right, so storage pools. Right-click virtual disk. Create a new volume. Right, disk 5. The only thing that looks like we're going to do is we're going to use REFS, I think. Right, so next. Okay. 30 gig, we're going to use the whole thing. Next. Drive E is fine. Next. And then right here, instead of NTFS, we're going to use REFS. And then we're going to call this storage space 4. All right. So all of these other steps here can be done on either one of those mirror volumes or the, I think you saw when we created those volumes, we automatically created, or when we created the virtual disk, it automatically created the volumes. This one had us provision the volumes separately. So that's the only big difference there. Create. And then when we'll go look at File Explorer once this is done. So it's done. Look at File Explorer. We should see an E drive. Right, here's storage space 1. And it should have 30 gigs of space. And it does. We're good. All right, awesome. Okay, so we did actually make it through. I wish I would have read that one next chapter or next paragraph. That would have been totally awesome.